Today we're going to talk about resume building, and my favorite part has been about this. Before I move on to this presentation any further, there is one philosophy that I used always when I was working, and I love that as an interviewer also. When I interview people, I want people to follow this process, this strategy. Uh, Also, if you remember the last time we talked about this particular strategy at great detail. And just to give you a summary on it, what it means is that it all depends on what is the interviewer looking forward. What is the interviewer looks into you. You have to put yourself in the shoes of the employer. You have to put yourself in the shoes of the interviewer, and then ask yourself questions that if I were to hire people, what is it that I'm going to expect from this person during the interview, right? Now you may be having, and then this question should answer a very important part, which is you may be having a lot of experience and a lot of exposure in your life, but none of that is relevant and related to the job. And then if that is not related to the job that you're applying for, in that case, you should not be talking and discussing anything about it. So what I used to do in the beginning, when I was looking for jobs, of course, in the beginning of my career, that I would go to the job description in detail. I would go to the words that they are using in the job description, the requirement that they mentioned, the expectations that they have, and I would align my resume, my application to that requirement, right? So I would specifically highlight the experience and exposure and the skills out of my career, and only those things will be mentioned in the resume and highlighted in the resume which are related to the job that I'm applying for. So pre-interview preparation and research about the job, about the company, the relevant skills that they're looking for, all that is very, very important. And that's very critical, because the only thing that I, as an employer or as an interviewer, is looking for during an interview is to make sure that the job that I have, the requirements that I have, the skills that I need, are you that person or not? And if your resume does not talk about exactly the thing that I'm looking for, then I'm not going to hire you. Okay, that's very, very basic, and that's very, very important. So your resume basically should not look like the one which is presented on the left side. The left side resume talks about you, and I don't care about you as an interviewer. I care about the things that you can do for me. So the template that you should be using to build your resume is the one which is provided on the right hand side, and it's called chronological resume template. I'll give you links, and you can download a lot of templates like this on internet from Google. There are a lot of free templates available. You can download them, and then you can fill in your information, your data. And the idea is that the resume should be easy to skim through. Nobody reads the long, detailed resume, especially if it's not related and relevant. If you see on the resume on the right hand side, you see one summary or the objective at the top of it, just below your name and your qualification, probably the things that you can highlight. And then it talks about the experience, and it starts with the recent experience and then goes to your earlier experiences. So it's in the chronology order, right? On the extreme right of the screen or the resume, if you see, is your personal information. These are like two important things that I would be looking for. You don't worry about this. There are links that I'll be sharing, and you would be able to download templates which look exactly like this, and then you can fill up this stuff there. Below the personal information, if you can see, there are technical skills. Now, these are the technical skills that you need for the job. And these are not the technical skills that you're awesome at it. You should only be highlighting the technical skills which the job requires. I find it, very strange in a lot of resume that the job requires X technical skills and the person has mentioned everything else. And I, as an interviewer, am thinking that how these skills are related and relevant to the job. So you should be only highlighting the technical skills that are related and relevant to the job. And at the end, you see the soft skills. Now, every employee is expected to have some kind of soft skills, which are communication, problem solving, critical thinking, leadership, team player, and stuff like that. Now, you are applying for a data science job. The soft skills that you would be needing in that are critical thinking, creative thinking, problem solving approach, and of course, interpersonal skills. You may be having some great leadership skills, but in this job, leadership skills are not required. Therefore, you should not be highlighting that. And the same logic goes for the technical skills. In the main part of the resume, if you see, after the experience, you talk about education, some additional activities, and then certifications, and then conferences, etc., that you have attended. Now, you may be thinking, oh my God, this is a 1 page of experience, 1 page of resume, that's it. And you may be thinking, is it good enough? I'd say yes. This is excellent resume because it's very short, very crisp, and it's easy to skim. Remember, the job of the resume is to just create a picture about you, a bird's eye picture about you. The rest of the things that you'll explain in the interview itself. All right. Now I'll go into the sections one by one and what should be there, what should not be there. Right. As I already explained that these are the different parts of the resume. If you see the top, this part of the resume, after your name is the resume summary or the objective as we say, and then the work experience here. Then you have education, you have additional sections. There are right inside on top corner, you have content information, and then you have skills, and you have bifurcated your skills into soft skills and technical skills. Probably you can write something else also if there is a space as an additional information. Okay. Then these are some of the templates. I'll be sharing the links in the group, and you can download a lot of templates or more information from these links. You don't have to create it from the scratch. Simply download the template and fill in the information at the relevant places. Now, the first thing in a resume is the resume summary, the objective of it, the top thing at the top of it, right? This one over here, resume objective. Now, this is the first thing that I'll be seeing as an interviewer. And I'm giving you 2 examples of what is a right resume summary and what is a wrong resume summary. Let's look at the wrong resume summary first. Data scientist with 9 years of experience seeks new position, skilled in statistics, machine learning, critical thinking, and data visualization. It does not create the impact and weight. But if you say Microsoft and Google certified data scientist with 9 years of experience, it makes sense. Or you can simply write certified data scientist. You're getting a certification course from us. You can call yourself certified data scientist with this many years of experience if you have. Seeks new position must be replaced with seeking to increase data efficiency for Contronics Capital Inc. This is the company that you're applying jobs for. Understand what you're saying. In the wrong example, you are saying seeks new position, meaning I want this. You're not telling the interviewer what you can do for them. So the language should be what you can do for them. And therefore, this sentence becomes important, seeking to increase data efficiency for this company. And then you talk about a certain achievements, and then you talk about how you delivered results, and you talk about very specific skills. So look at the next sentence, how it says. Achievements include creating data regression models to predict company stock prices with 25% more accuracy than historical average. Now, in this one sentence, you are telling them that you achieved something which was significant and important. So you built a data regression model which predicted company stock prices, and your model actually was better than everybody else. You did that with 25% more accuracy than the historical average. Now that's a super good and very smart sentence. Then you're talking about the results that you delivered. Achieve 20% improvement in investment returns across all clients. So how your model helped the company and the client. That's what makes it's important, right? And then you talk about your skills. Now look at the difference here. Skilled in statistics, machine learning, critical thinking, and data visualization. There is no order into it. When you write about your skills, you say highly skilled. Replace the word skilled with highly skilled, and then you say machine learning. And inside machine learning, there is something called data visualization. And then to solve problem, you have to have some critical thinking or creative thinking. Now you're combining your technical skills with your soft skills. Remember, in the previous example, we talked about the technical skills here and soft skills. So you obviously give the technical skills as a highlight, but also highlight something from your soft skills, because that's very important and it's needed, right? So that's the example of a resume summary, which is the right resume summary and which is a wrong one. The right one will include some names, some certifications, some results, and it will also include the language which tells what you can do for the company. What you're looking for, it's very obvious. Obviously, you're looking for a new position. That's why you applied for a job, right? But why you are looking for that position? Why should the interviewer care? Why should the interviewer bother? What you can do for them? That is important and critical, and that is what you need to write in your resume summary. Moving on to the resume objective, this is almost the same thing, right? The wrong one is once again talking about you, entry-level data scientist. Now this is for inexperienced people. This is for people who don't have any experience, freshers. They're applying for data scientist job. Read the wrong one first. Entry-level data scientist. Seeking a machine learning or data engineering job. No real-world experience yet, but I'm eager to get into big data field. Now, you don't say you don't have any real-world experience. You're not born yesterday. You're 23, 27, 28, maybe 30 years old. Definitely you have some real-world experience. Remember in my previous trainings I talked about, and in your LinkedIn profile building template that we've given for the freshers, I have highlighted this many times that you can highlight things that you've done in other fields and take that as an example and show them that how you have the leadership skills or critical things and problem solving and everything, how you're good with people. You may not be having a real world experience of data scientist, of data science, but you do have some other experience which is relevant, which talks about how you are able to visualize, how you're able to find solutions to problems, how you're able to critically think and solve problems. Those are the things that you can seriously talk about. So the right example for this would be junior data scientist. You're not saying entry level data scientist, right? It's a junior data scientist with 3 years of experience in what? Look at this. This is not saying that you have 3 years of experience in data science. It's not talking about that. Read it carefully. Junior data scientist with 3 years of experience in project work and freelance jobs. So never say you're a fresher. Remember that? You're never a fresher. You have done something. The person has been working on projects and the person has been working on freelance jobs or internships or whatever, meaning you do have some experience. So you say, I have this much of experience on these things. Okay. Now you highlight some of the achievements out of your academics, out of your internships, out of your freelance jobs, out of your project work. Highlight some of the achievements here rather than saying no real world experience. For example, I beat 200 plus statistics professors and big data professionals in an NCAA pool. So there was a competition wherein there were 200 plus statistics professors and big data professionals, and I was also part of that competition. I beat them. I beat 200 plus professionals and professors by building models that fit the problem best. Now that's a beautiful thing to say. You don't have an experience, but you have done some awesome thing which tells people in one sentence that you are great, you're awesome. And you're not saying I'm awesome, you're actually giving an example of how you're awesome. And that's a beautiful thing to do. Skilled in machine learning. Yes, you are skilled. You have been working on projects with us. So you are skilled. Statistics, machine learning, problem solving, and programming. Look, if a cricketer is been practicing for 2 years, would you say this person is not skilled? The person is skilled. He hasn't been playing on the field, therefore you would not have any experience certificate, but somebody who's been practicing for 3 years does have a lot of experience, right? And of course skills. So you can talk about skills, you can talk about experiences, and this is a very good example, resume objective. Let's move on to the next part, which is a resume example of your experience, right? How your experience should be highlighted, whatever the experience that you have. The wrong example is you write this and then you say worked as a data scientist for this company, created and presented models for potential holdings, created machine learning tools to compute adjusted PE values. The right way of writing the exact same thing is fulfilled all data science duties for a high-end capital management firm. Now we're just changing the language here. I worked as a data scientist, but I, as an interviewer, am willing to ask or looking to ask, what exactly did you do? What exactly did you do? And if you say fulfilled all data science duties, then I'm curious to know what all did you do? And that will give you an opportunity to explain in detail, right? So that's a smart way of writing it, because you want the interviewer to be curious and ask you more questions so that in answers you can impress them. And you're also not saying a capital management firm, you're saying high-end capital management firm. That makes that the work was high quality. Now what you did, the second sentence this guy has used in the wrong example is created and presented models for potential holdings. But you need to say that how and why these models that you created were important and what results they delivered. So you write it in a different language by saying created and presented models for potential holdings to fund managers for whom these models were presented and created. And how effective and efficient these models were. So you write achieved 20% better returns versus historical performance. Remember this summary part, right? And the next sentence, which says created machine learning tools to compute adjusted PE values. You say created machine learning tools that computed adjusted PE values, and this is how it impacted. So predicted stock price 25% better than traditional figures. So in your experience, you say what you did and how this was important and how it valued and added value to the organization. You see, the interviewer in this case is just looking for to understand, have you done something which added value to the organization? Do you understand that? And if your examples keep telling that you think from the company's point of view and you do things that are important for the company and you prove it by examples, then you don't have to say anything else, right? Whether you're good or not. When I ask people during the interviews that, okay, how good are you? So I'm very hardworking. I'm talented, and I'm honest. I'm like, yeah, those are good words. But rather than saying that I'm honest, if you can give me an example of how you were honest somewhere in your job, that would convince me. So if you say that I know how to create, models and data science projects and all that, you gave me an example that I did that. How good were you? You show me results. Now, here is an example of a data scientist's resume wherein you have no experience. The wrong way of writing it would be data science experience, no real world experience yet, but I'm very passionate. That's very bad. And then you write other example which is not relevant. I have retail experience, I have paper route experience. Don't write it like that. Something you've done in your life and you do have an experience over there, but only pick up the experience out of your personal life which are relevant. So for example, this guy, rather writing, data science experience, I don't have any experience, he's saying freelance data scientist, or maybe an intern, or maybe, worked on a project. You write that. And then you highlight a couple of things, as we saw in the summary part. Be 200 plus statistics professors, students, and professionals in this school by finding the right data models for the job. Then there was another thing that I did, food forest, use random forest regressor to predict fantasy football scores. And this may be his passion. Right? He was doing it as a project somewhere, but the person is written that over here as if this is a real world experience. PayLearn 2, regular contributor to the machine learning project on GitHub. I'm sure you are part of a lot of GitHub repositories and you contribute regularly to them. Write those things. Those are your experiences. I'm sure you're working on so many projects. Write what you're doing on those projects. Highlight those projects. That this is what I'm doing in this project and this is how this is important. So you would not be coming across as an inexperienced person who doesn't know a shit about the world. There's a lot that you're doing in last 2.5 months at least, and that can be highlighted very easily. I'll take one more example of education, how your education can be mentioned. A lot of people don't have any idea how a right way of education to be mentioned. For example, they say that I did BTech, and I'm always during the interview asking people, what did you learn, right? What was your major subjects? What were the subjects that you excelled at? And when I ask you this question, 4 years of education or 2 years of education or whatever, you should be only picking up the key highlights which are relevant and related to the job that you're applying for. If you learned economics and my job doesn't need anything regarding that, there's no reason you should be talking about. There's no point you should be talking about. That's a waste of time and energy. Don't do that. So how do you do it? It's a pretty simple one. The wrong example would be BS in Statistics, Syracuse University, 2008 to 2012. GPA. This completed all core coursework. And this is normally people come with their resume wherein the education is just highlighted. I did that and this was my GPA. That's it. The right way of writing this is this. which you say, excelled in machine learning and data science coursework, completed all coursework should be replaced with excelled in machine learning and data science. We did everything, but these were the two things that I excelled in. Why? Why? Because machine learning and data science is something that I'm looking for at the moment as an interviewer. So you should be highlighting those keywords that are important for us, right? Completed a senior project to predict waitress tips in a busy Boston restaurant. How I did that? I used decision trees, regression models, and SVM. Now, these are the keywords that the job description has highlighted. I'll show you in the next one. Right? So here is a job description. When you read the job description, remember in the beginning I said that you need to read the job description. So what the job description and the skills that they are requiring, they say collaboration, CRM, database management, and data visualization. So what you need to do is you need to prove them in your bullet points, like this data scientist resume example. So how do you prove that I collaborate? So you say that I collaborated with the team members to optimize what? CRM database. You can CRM here, database here for a high volume real estate firm. So whatever the skills that I'm looking for, you take example out of your life, your professional, personal work, and you highlighted that you displayed those skills. You use those keywords. Decreased wasted phone and email time by 57%. Used Matplotlib, whatever the damn thing is it, to create real-time ROI graphs, data visualization, right? That helped the team focus on high profit business. This led to the 20% increase in the annual profit. So you pick up the keywords from the job description and you prove them in your resume by taking some examples out of your past work. Coming back to the education example, you pick up the keywords from the job description, remember, and you highlight that during your education, you worked on these keywords. Complete a senior project to predict waitress, regression models, machine learning, and AI. I'm the president for the AI club, meaning I have done something around AI also. And then you talk about the projects. You know, Microsoft Professional Program for Data Science, I did this certificate, wherein I completed all 10 required courses in data science, total 120 hours. You can write the things that you're learning with us. You can say that I did 15 projects and total hours this, and I attended these many master classes, these many coaching classes, and I helped these people and stuff like that. All right. I think that would be all from my side. If you focus on these points, your resume would be very, very strong. What you need to do now is download a template, okay, and you start working on the resume for yourself. Follow the template, and then you work on it. So I'm sharing the link with you, the ones that I just talked about, right, in the presentation, and you can use those links to download some of this stuff. Here we go. Okay, I shared in the chat section. The recorded video will be provided. This training is recorded. It will be provided for further references later on. What about freshers? I have given a lot of examples about freshers also in this presentation. I'm sure your questions were answered over there. Now the question that you're asking, MS Raji, is my previous experience within the another domain. Look, read the job description, find out what are the keywords that they are looking for, and then you try to make those keywords, you prove those points from your past experience. So when you write about your past experience, you write it in a way and so that you highlight the only relevant points. What about freshers, Swapnil? We've been talking about freshers a lot. I don't know, what questions do you have? Or you're not Microsoft or Google certified, you're certified, right? Certified. Amol, no, it is not mandatory to have one page, but I would suggest that you keep it one page. A long resume is not something that people have a lot of time to read through, right? And rather than writing a lot of stuff, you only should be writing the relevant stuff, which is related to the job. Absolutely, you can write Decodr certified. You will have the certification. All right. Any questions that you have about building your resume, uh, optimizing your LinkedIn profile, writing your profile summary over there, building headlines, engaging with your future employers, creating content, sharing stuff, and the previous ones that we talked about? When you were doing mechanical engineering, as an engineering, were you involved in the problem solving things? I'm sure you were. So I'm looking for people who have creative thinking and problem solving attitude. And if you can highlight problem solving and creative thinking out of your education, you write that. Take examples. These links that I've given you have great examples. I've given you a lot of examples on it. Have an ATS score 74, 3-page CV, have an experience of 5 years. How can I improve my ATS score so as to have better shortlisting? I don't know what you're talking about. This is a 3-page CV. I'm not an experienced. What is an ATS score, first of all? Look, the shortlisting depends on how relevant your application is to the job. If when you're applying for a job, if you read the description and you underline those specific keywords that are important, and then accordingly you build your resume so that your resume is actually highlighting only the points which the interviewer is looking for, then the shortlisting chances are increased. I would not say that building a resume through a software like ZT is important. I mean, you can use if you want to, but it's not important at all. You can simply download any template of a chronological resume that I just shared in this presentation with you, and you can build your resume on top of that. Gopichan, this presentation recording will be made available in your group. Soma says, I have a doubt. How do you create stuff in LinkedIn? How do I create stuff in LinkedIn? I write stuff that I know. And you are learning about data science, you should be writing about data science. As simple as that. You're working on a project, write about project. You solve a problem, write about that. Is that all your experience? Are you talking about my post? Yes. Everything that I write is based on my first-hand experience. I don't fabricate stories. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad you like that. Okay. All right. So I think that'll be all from my side today. We have done now 3 trainings for you. One, we've taught you how you should be using LinkedIn, how your profile should be created, your headline, summary, engagement, experience, everything should be updated. The second thing, we've taught you how you need to prepare for interview, what should be the process and steps that you should be following. We've taught you about how you build your resume, And now my team for past many weeks is following up with you so that you are actually going in LinkedIn and you are engaging with your future employers. You are creating content, you're engaging with them, and you're sharing the information. And your portfolio has been built, so portfolio training has also been done. If all of these 4-5 things that I'm talking about are done, then you have a very good chance of getting a job. I'm sure the schedule of your trainings going forward is shared with you. We are shifting all our communication with you from WhatsApp to Slack. We'll be creating your Slack workspaces for every batch separately, and all the information will be shared over there. Your interview preparation is going to be, I'm sure this is shared with you all, but I'll just share my screen with you so that you know your trainings are planned and scheduled. Okay. I'm sure you're able to see it now. So that is the schedule for trainings now. Today we conducted this training, interview preparation, resume building. Tomorrow, 1 to 3 p.m., we have interview practice. We've shared you 100 questions with the answers, the questions that are going to be asked during the interview. So I'm sure you've gone through it. You've practiced around those questions. We will be doing interview practice session for 2 hours, wherein I'll be taking your interview, and then we'll be practicing among ourselves. On 28th, we will be taking a written test around interview. During the interviews, when companies take, there are a lot of written tests also. Those are based on your knowledge. So you need to brush up and read everything that you've done in the last 2.5 months with us. Complete all your assignments. If you have doubts, ask a question to your trainer. There will be 2 tests. One is 29th, 28th of September. It will be an online test. And there will be another test on 2nd October. We will have another round of interview practice internally on 30th of September, same time, 1 to 3 p.m. Based on written test performance and based on these interview practice sessions in next 1 week, some people will be interviewed by industry experts. We'll be bringing an industry expert and they'll be interviewing you. But only the shortlisted and qualified people will be forwarded for those interviews. There will be one on 3rd, then you'll be given 1 week's time to practice once again, and then there will be another industry expert interview on 10th. These are the people who are working as data science experts, or maybe they'll be, most probably will be your future employers. They will be taking your interviews. Now, based on these activities in next 2 weeks' time, the qualified candidates will be appearing for live interviews after 10th of October with the companies. So make sure in these 2 weeks, you prepare yourself for the interviews. You do whatever you can and should be doing on LinkedIn. You brush up your projects, you complete your assignments and everything, and make sure that nothing is left behind. We are going to shift the entire communication from WhatsApp to Slack channels. The right information and important information will be shared with you maybe by the day and today. All right, couple of questions. Swapnil is asking, graduation is compulsory for getting data science job? Yes. Can I share my CV with you? If you can update me if it's well showcased. Please don't share it with me. There will be some stuff that we'll be doing. I'll not be able to give my remarks on an individual CV. In the group, we will be doing some examples. So first, you follow what we talked today, make changes based on what we are doing today, and then later on, we'll have discussions on it. If you're not selected, will there be second chance? If you saw what I just shared with you, there were 7 chances, or maybe more than that, right? So there are a lot of chances, but please make sure that you work hard. If you need more than 8 chances, then there is something wrong with you. So I wish you all the very best. That will be all from our side today. The recording of this video will be shared with you later on. And I wish you all work hard,